So it's that first one under new business, right? Yeah, that's supporting tribal public health capacity.
We're going to talk next about supporting tribal health capacity in coronavirus preparedness and response grant. Cindy, you can talk about it.
Okay, thank you. Good morning. We were fortunate enough a couple of years ago to receive a grant from CDC that had to do with bringing the tribe towards public health accreditation, which is a huge honor. There are only 4 tribes in the United States that actually have that recognition, and we should have that public health accreditation within the next 1.5 to 2 years. Along with that goes different opportunities that we have, and it sets our public health department up in a way that will be able to respond to different kinds of things. It could be diabetes, it could be helping people quit smoking. I mean, it could be all of those practice things. But there came a grant that we applied for, I believe it was last week, and it's the grant that you mentioned, and it is from CDC, so it's an extremely intensive, hard grant. We applied for the full amount that we were allowed to apply for, and what it will do is it will support facilities and alterations and relocation of the Emergency Command Center, which is in Manoman right now at the Shooting Star, so it would pay for those things. Technology systems and supplies for preparedness and response activities. So we'll probably have to look at some kind of computer system that can do a little more than the computer system that we have now. And the next is staffing. And we have 2 surges written into the grant, depending upon if anyone on the reservation becomes ill and different kinds of things like that. And so we would up our nursing, and even though we have nurses in different areas, it would all be forged towards the coronavirus. And then we have a large section in there also for the communications department, because people have to need to know what's going on, and then helping the leadership and all of the key persons be able to make sure all that communication is happening. And then the countermeasures with mitigation, which is procure supplies and assign that a surge staff and recognize when it needs to be lessened and things. And then there's alterations for mitigation. So that can also mean donning and doffing of infected outfits and PPEs and different kinds of things like that. Then it also has a large component in there called capacity and community recover, because we will recover from all of this. And so what it has to do is conduct recovery activities, including after action reviews, develop of improvement plans, restoring wider tribal community to a pre-event functioning. And then lastly, it has an evaluation component to it. So where could we have done better? What could we have done quicker or slower? It's just a complete overall capacity. So praying that we get this grant, we should know by the end of this week or next week. Any questions?
So what do you need from us, Cindy? What do you need from the council?
The only thing that I needed from council was to, and I think it's already been done, was to our lobbyist that we had in Washington, D.C. She had mentioned on a phone call that when we were finished with our grant, which we were last week, to let her know that so that she could push it forward. This particular grant, it does have a due date. It's clear at the end of May, but we finished ours because they said if you could finish it first, you would, be in a good position. And so I think it's already been done. I think Alan did that, correct?
Yeah, I communicated this with our folks out there, and part of the reason I wanted you to kind of update the council here as well, Cindy, is just to let them know of all the hard work your guys' team is doing there to get these monies that our people need. And the fact that, we're ahead of the curve on a lot of this stuff. And so I just wanted to let the council know that you guys are also doing that as well. So, and then you got a whole team working on this, right?
I do. This is nothing that one person could do. It takes a team. And Alan, you are right. We are in a very strong position of strength with the grants that we have currently, and that we've gotten the 3 decent sized ones. And then I believe, because we are in that position of strength, I think that the grant that I just mentioned is really good.
Yeah.
I feel good about it. They're very, very hard grants, but we're working on 2 more of them right now. I believe that you have a resolution on your desk, or maybe you've already done it right now, one that I hope to finish this afternoon. And then we have another HRSA grant that's complicated, something similar to the CDC, but we expect to get that going. Hopefully they'll be turned in by Friday. Grants right now are really unusual because the date line, some of them are only 24 hours.
We've gotten some of the responses and awarding of it, haven't we? For some of these we put in for, have we heard back?
Yes.
We have, huh?
Yes, we have. And in fact, yes. And in fact, today, Mike, in your emails, when you're finished with all of this, there is a DocuSign, a contract from the Minnesota Department of Health for you to DocuSign. So that would be another grant that we have. But
So,
you guys, I've been letting you guys know what they are.
Well, how
You know that
many,
you have that one.
I mean, how many grants have we been awarded so far since we put in for these?
I want to say on my side, on the health division side, I want to say I think there's 5 or 6.
Oh, wow.
But we'll have this one out. We'll have the one that I'm hoping to get done today, and then the one that I hope to get out by Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm, and then, you have the whole grants department is writing grants too. So, and then Pam Keiser is someone who I work with a lot too on the grants department, as she does grants.gov so well. And her and we've been working together for a long time. So I want you to know that it's just not me. I want you to know that it's a collaboration of your entire, it's a big staff you have over here trying to make sure that we can protect the people here, so, and respond correctly.
Well, be good, Cindy. Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you very much. And thank you. Bye.
Appreciate all your hard work.
Thanks, Cindy.
All right, next up is the cleanup. I know we talked about this earlier, and we're looking at pushing the date back on a week or 2, or what was it?
Well, some stuff is gonna peak here in June.
You want to get it done before then?
Well, I know we gotta,
Because I was cleaning up my ditches this weekend, and it's like, I'll get all kinds of garbage.
well, that's what I did. I hauled the road to the transfer station myself yesterday, so.
You can just imagine if we don't do a cleanup, they're gonna be dumping those tires and
Yeah, and that-
TVs and washers and everything else. in the
Oh, that government road is getting terrible out there.
it is,
Oh, my God.
we should do it then. We should do that cleanup.
You know, I was kind of wondering if there's any grants available out there too, that this shit is all over. We get some of that stuff cleaned up out there. You know?
Well, that's one of the reasons for day labor too, is that we talk about day labor, is just get those guys to go out there and just go on that road and start picking up.
Well, that's health and welfare right
If
there.
we could use their third-party money on that,
We should be. What do we got to talk to about?
just get a hold of Terrell, and that'll be something on Thursday, we're gonna bring up the Terrell stuff too, so.
Talk about it on that.
Yeah, because I know there's a Terrell meeting that day in the new clinic, so.
Well, can you guys bring them billing, behavioral health folks and those tarot guys together at the same time. That way everyone's on the same page talking, you know. And the sooner we can get that started, I would say the better, because a lot of people are laid off, and I tell you, a lot of them are, some of those guys that were unemployed already, that don't even qualify for the unemployment, they can't even get jobs.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So there's a large.
As I said,
segment of our
when we signed
population.
that agreement with IHS, I think that's $400,000 or $500,000 a year we can put into that Terrell money. I mean, I know it goes for training, but a lot of it goes into, you know, so their fund, so we could easily contract, you know.
Well, what about this community cleanup, or we get utilize some of that?
That's what we're talking about, yeah, health and welfare, if it's cleaning up with the community. Maybe get Vanya, could you have Vanya maybe look at it, the lawyer, before Thursday? That way she could give us an opinion.
You know, 'cause I think, was it last year or the year before, it cost us
Behavioral health fund?
Yeah, those third parties
$80,000.
for health and welfare of
But I
the
think we could
community
use that third party
for
money
cleanup
to pay for it.
operations.
Yeah,
You know, it's about health,
And
about our
maybe some
community
proposed
health, about
language.
us, not, you know, our
Whatever.
percentage.
Maybe have her draft
Why
up a
don't you go
proposed
and just-
resolution with that,
I know.
you know,
and she could talk with the Terrell folks and Martha and them between now and Thursday, and then if they could have a resolution brought to us on Thursday, we could allocate funds for that operation. You know,
We can just start some day labor or whatever, how you guys wanna kick it out, day labor or some contractors, I don't know. I mean, either way, I mean, we get our people, like you said, that are ones that didn't qualify
they
for
don't qualify.
unemployment, that are sitting there
They need money.
up to mischief, parking down driveways, parking down my driveway, sitting in there. I was like, so you guys think that I was like, you guys gotta do something. You can't be hanging around here, man. You got, I mean, you must see the traffic too.
yeah.
I mean, there's shady people all over the road, and I hate to say it like that, but I mean, there's like too much time on people's hands, so mischief and so get these young people back to work.
Is it Liz Anderson? Is she?
Who?
Or Liz
Oh, you mean Terrell?
Terrell?
It's
Yeah, Liz
Sandy
Anderson.
St. Clair and what's her name, Esther Ames.
Sandy.
Esther.
Oh, Esther. Is she working?
Yeah, we gotta get her back. Remember, they're the ones that sent that proposal to day labor, remember?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So. And if we start off small, I mean, each district could each get a supervisor and 5 or 6 people to put into work, and that's to start them off small.
Yeah.
And like you said, the food, what do you call it,
Yeah,
bank
we
needs
could go out
workers, we
there.
could send some workers over there to the food bank every day. Give everybody a chance to get hours.
Yeah.
But the thing we gotta iron out is the pay card, is how are we gonna pay them daily?
That's another thing, yeah.
That's the thing that we gotta iron out, that's something that they'll be able
Well,
to
I
work on.
know Becker, she's got when he did the wild rice, he had a system that we could maybe utilize for that, you know?
I know East Lakewood, they were sending their guys right over to the casino to get paid on it. They're
Is
shut
that-
down over now, so.
Is the White Earth Initiative up, I mean, the White Earth Credit Union open in the mini mall?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Maybe we could just
Go
go there,
there.
until they get a pay card, until they get an actual card from them.
Mhm. That'd bring them some business too.
All right, we're looking at a good idea. But we're gonna push back to dates, you think, almost for a week or two back on that?
well, we could go, well,
I
it
don't
helps to get on
think
Thursday and see what we come up with first.
I think we wanna do it like May 1st, that's like, what, 8
2
days
weeks
away
away,
or
yeah.
2 weeks away? I say at least 3 weeks out, I think. Would give
Oh,
them time
okay.
to advertise and get people to start hauling stuff up to the front of their house.
Yeah, and we'll have to get sanitation crew up there prepared too, you know, so they can start hauling boxes into these transfer stations and stuff. you know.
Yeah. Did they ever get their new?
Yeah, they did.
Oh, good.
They got that contract too.
Good.
I was stopped.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they got that contract out of the Boy Scout camp. I stopped up there yesterday when I got that little garbage up there and they told me that they got the contract, so.
Okay, good. All right, so we'll get back on, we'll come back and revisit the community cleanup. All right, next
We're
up
gonna
is,
come back and talk about cleanup?
well, I mean, the date and,
Okay.
you know, I think maybe by Thursday or next Tuesday, maybe reach
Okay.
out to the Terrell people to see how fast we can get some type of day labor implemented, so.
They used to set this up according to the powwow, see, because they wanted to clean up before powwow time too, so that's why they had them earlier dates.
That's right.
We're burning up everything now, so, and we cleaned up along the, there's a lot of stuff in the ditches. I'm just like, I wanna pay those little kids to go clean, cause they're just going. Yeah. Alright. Alright, next up is you wanna bring in Scott Omelet, unless you wanna talk about Red Cliff, about the fish?
Yeah. I'm gonna call Brian. You mind if I call him?
Yeah, Brian from Red Cliff?
Yeah, Brian Goodwin, he had somebody over there he was talking to.
Hey, I tried to call you the first time, but I'm going to put you on speakerphone. They just got done talking about the community cleanup. Okay.
Hello. Hey, I'm gonna put you on speaker. I got you in a council
Hold on,
meeting
Kathy.
here. And
I'm
you're
gonna
being
put you on
live
speaker.
streamed on YouTube. So I told them to put that Red Cliff fish on the agenda here, so they're gonna have some questions. If you could explain it, I'll put you on speaker. All right, Brian, can you hear me?
What are we gonna do with the cleanup?
What? I didn't hear that one.
We'll address it again on Thursday.
Brian, can you talk about that, the fish that you're talking about for the elders from Red Cliff?
Yeah, they, one of the local fishermen, they, decided to, go get some fish even though there wasn't any money in it. But they wanted to feed the community. So they ended up, getting about 1,000 pounds of fish. And so they distributed it out to, community members. So the local fisherman, he used to be the chairman, he's now the acting executive director for Great Lakes Intertribal Council. So as I was talking to him, he was, I just asked a question. And the question is, next time we go out for fish, I'd like to take some fish back home for our elders in White Earth. And he says, let's talk about it. So over the next couple of days, we started talking about it, and I told him that why don't we start with next time you go out, let's get a couple coolers of fish, and I'll take a couple coolers of fish over to White Earth, and we can fly them up over there and hand them out to some of our elders. So he says, well, do they like to boil their fish over there for soup? And I said, well, that's true. Who cares on how you eat it, as long as we can give out some fish and practice who we are as Shinabe people helping one another. And so I talked again to him last night, and he says, well, let's see what your leadership has to say, and then we'll just take it from there. So that's kind of where we're at. So then I thought, well, one hand washing the other. You guys have abundance of fish, but maybe if we get 500 or 1,000 pounds of fish, and we can haul that over, maybe we can get you 50 or 100 pounds of wild rice, and then you can come back and hand that out to the elderly people here with their fish. And then we got rice, and we'll have fish with our rice. So that's it in a nutshell, really. And so he's a commercial fisherman, and so it'll be legal for us to haul it over state lines because they'll each have a tag on it, and he has the license to haul fish commercially. So I was just thinking about just put them in boxes and just hauling it over to White Earth, and then we can take care of our elderly people in another way. That's really it in a nutshell, really. So they were on KBJR News the other day. For doing a good thing, and I just thought that would be a good story because during these hard times, it's like winter time when you tell your Wayne Buju stories. It's because we're having a hard time during winter time when we tell those stories to pass the time. Well, we could make another story and create another story, and it'd be a good story for our people to hear that, you know, we're capable of taking care of one another, just like you guys are all demonstrating with everything that you're doing right now. But from one tribe to another, I mean, that sounds like what is right and what is the truth and love for our people. So that's how that all come about.
So what do they wanna do then? Like, kinda do like a trade, so fish for some wild rice, is that what you're saying?
Well, that's just my idea. You do it anyway. But I just thought as, you know, usually tobacco, there's always an exchange, you know. But he's not necessarily looking to have rice. I'm just saying that it'd be a good, it's a reciprocal type of a deal. It's a principal thing. He's not looking for the rice. I just thought it'd be a good faith gesture to, you know, help them out too.
Yeah.
That's all I was thinking. You'll do it anyway. It's just the kind of guy he is.
So we'll have to follow up with this again, huh? Get some prices or get what type of logistics and, you know, what type of fish or who's.
The fish would be trout and whitefish.
Yeah, because I was talking to Umsy a little while ago about the smokers, you know, because I know a lot of us, myself, I prefer to, you know, when you get that fish off the Great Lakes, is smoked, like smoked whitefish. I really love that. So that's what I'm here about, is smoking that whitefish. You know, I was like, that's what I'd love to have, smoked whitefish. So
yeah, that'd be a great idea. The old timers, they'd like that too. Little kids, they'd love to eat smoked fish too.
Maybe if we just had Monica, because it's wild.
yeah,
You know, maybe have her link up with Brian and figure out the logistics and then come back to us with a proposal.
yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, we can do that.
Umsy at home all day, smoking fish all day.
Well, the other thing is like, so if we want to get it to elders, then it would have to be delivery. So maybe it would have to be part of the food shelf delivery thing. You know, so there's like, there's some logistics that have to be figured out. So,
I mean, it would probably have to be
Heather
vacuum
Hamlin.
sealed and every damn thing, maybe too.
Yeah, vacuum sealed, yeah.
Unless the guy just went around and handed it out, but.
But then it's coming from Wisconsin and then.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is,
he violates
same
our
day.
protocol,
Back to nice.
because we got a protocol for, what is that, if you're outside of, what is it? The state?
Yeah.
You're not supposed to come to the res, is that what it says? So.
But this is something we can do in the future too.
Let's just
It doesn't have to be like today or tomorrow, like.
We can figure it out, yeah. I think if we talk with Monica, then she's smart, you know.
Even if it's next month, or a month and a half from now.
Yeah.
Put some fish.
You know, when things loosen up a little bit, I just put the order in and just talk to them as when things loosen up a little bit, then let's haul some fish over.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea, because we have several members here that smoke, so.
Yeah, well, I can start by just bringing a couple boxes over.
Sure.
I can just start right there, just bring a couple boxes over and smoke them up. Just for starters.
Yep.
And then things loosen up later on, then I'll bring over, 5 to 1,000 pounds of it.
Truckload.
So,
All right, thanks, Brian Rigwich. We'll have Monica reach out to you.
all right, sounds good. You guys take care.
Yeah, keep up with me.
Yeah, wait, this is go.
All right. What's next then? What do you guys want?
Who's Scott? Is he available?
Yeah, okay.
Is that okay, Scott?
Yeah, that's kind of.
Is that Scott and Nicole or?
Scotty boy.
Should we do the signature request? We're waiting.
Yeah, as well.
All right, Cindy, Ron said public health. This one is for funding for ambulance. Required match, no. This one is to apply for Minnesota Department of Health COVID-19 Planning Response Grant, Weather Reservation Ambulance Authorities.
Motion.
Motion by Allen. Second.
Yeah.
Second by Umsey, all in favor?
Right.
Motion carries. All right, the next one is by Shonda Fisher. This one is USDA Community Facilities Disaster Grant Funding. And this is for $46,000. There is a 25% match, which is $11,830. We're getting close to 50,000 for 11,000.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Any news on that 310 billion on SBA?
The 310 billion?
No, they're gonna add additional funding for that.
No, I haven't heard anything yet.
We're talking about housing, applied for it, to the home thing, and then they got passed up on it.
Yeah, that pay period. I'm applying as well for enterprises, and, you know, they ran out of money on Friday, or Thursday or Friday. And it's talk that there's more coming.
Yeah, 310 billion.
Yeah, so, you know, I'm gonna put the application in, and, you know, there's a lot of people that are in the line, if they get enough money or not, you know.
We'll go through Bremer?
Yeah.
Good.
We'll just wait and see. And then if there does come money, then if we get approved, then you have 2 days to agree, yep, I'll take the money and sign the documents. So you can always get approved, and if for some reason you don't want it, you can turn it down.
All right, motion on this grant for $47,000.
It's 11,000, about 12,000 from the tribe.
Yeah, it's a 25% match.
Motion.
Motion by Allen, second.
I'll second.
Second by Umsey, all in favor? Motion carries. All right, Scott. Scott, the next up was COVID-19.
Okay, do you mean the $8 billion or?
Oh, we wanted to ratify that, what you had submitted. Remember last week we talked?
Yep.
So I wanted to see if we can get a motion to ratify the submission, Mr. Chair, and then an update from him pertaining to the data breach.
Okay, so we got the application submitted. There's really only 4 questions you had to answer: your enrollment population, your land base, your employees, and your expenditures. And so we can only assume that they're using those 4 measures to determine how to allocate the $8 billion. It was uploaded last Thursday about 5 o'clock. I got 2 email confirmations stating that they did receive our packet. I haven't heard anything additional. So, we're just kind of in a waiting game. The issue is they originally said that money had to be paid out by April 24th. And of course, there's the big question and dilemma of, are the Alaskan tribes included? Are they not included? I wonder how they're going to make that decision by the 24th, because by law, they're supposed to pay that money out by the 24th. Maybe they will decide. I don't know. I visited with Ronnie just before I got here, and I said, Ronnie, was this about a potential scam that somebody was trying to hack into our bank account and get our money? And her statement was, no, I think it was more about the Interior wanting to know the numbers that were being reported. Are people reporting correct numbers? When we do our grants and we apply for all this money, we do a single audit. And that is only the grants of White Earth. And we provide, there's a website that you can upload your grant, all your information to, and it's public knowledge. Tribes do not have to do that. So most of the agencies we deal with, we send the single audit directly to them. So they see our single audit, but they don't see, what we do in the casino. They don't see what any of our enterprises do. So is it, Interior wants to know about, we could be look very poorly on our single audit, but we might be a tribe that has $1 billion of other income, and they don't get that information typically. So it's hard to say what the #1 goal of this breach was. It doesn't sound like it should have happened, but it did happen, and the information was shared from U.S. Treasury because that's where it was uploaded. Why did Treasury share it with the Department of Interior? Don't know. How will they use it? Don't know. But on our single audit, when we report our single audit last year, we might have reported 80 million, 90 million. Well, when I reported in this U.S. Treasury and included all the entities, it was like 210 million. So it was over double the money. But they didn't ask if you were profitable. So you could have 10 million in expenditures and be broke, or you could have $1 billion in expenditures and be broke. So we're just going to have to wait. And Barb's not hearing a whole lot of new information. There's not much talk out of Washington. There's a lot of haggling, but nobody's really saying anything that I'm seeing. Are we going to get money by the 24th? Well, they said they were supposed to release it by the 24th, and there's still time if they decide on.
There's some court cases that are trying to have to hold it up too by taking it to court.
In the court cases, most court cases don't get resolved immediately. But if a judge comes in and says, this is the law and this is the way it is, sometimes judges come in and make decisions, and either they may release the money and force it to be released, or they may say, you cannot release it because we haven't got through these answers.
So, with that said, Mr. Chair, I wanted to see if we could pass a motion to ratify the submission on last Thursday.
All right, motion to ratify our
U.S. Treasury application.
U.S. Treasury application.
Ratify it to what?
Just that it was okay to do it. Okay. To submit it.
Aye.
You second? Yeah. Second by Umsey, all in favor to ratify our Treasury application?
Aye.
You all right? Aye, motion carried.
Okay.
Thank you, Scott. I think that's it. I don't know, we got one more signature, or 2 more signatures. All right, the next signature request is Pat Butler for budget period 2 additional dollars for grant payments. And this is for no
I
concern.
noticed the call dropped, so, yep.
2-year for your grant receiving
But I got you back
additional
on.
200 for continuing
Okay.
for grant duties. Aiding, protecting health and wellness of below waiters. 200 what? $200? Or 200 million.
I don't know what that is. Oh, it's a budget amendment. She's asking for a budget amendment. So she has a resolution. She's just asking for a motion to amend the budget.
All right,
And,
motion to amend the budget for Pat Butler and additional dollars for grant duties. Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Alan, second.
Second.
By Ray, all in favor? Motion carries. The last one is Tanya Vogue from Dove. This is a new managed project, no match required, U.S. Department of Justice.
Can you talk a little louder?
With Liz or Maria. Who wants to read your grant off for Kathy?
I can read it, I guess. Kathy, can you hear me?
Just put it away.
Talk a little louder. And we got it in young.
It's a new document, it's a grant resolution from Tanya Vole at Dove Funding Agency, the United States Department of Justice. There's no match required. It's a pre-application for the Dove program. Submit further approves the full application be submitted to the Department of Justice, Office of Justice Programs, Office of Victims of Crime to approve services for crime victims. And whereas the Wire Business Committee approves of the population figures and calculation method for wire preservation population contained in the Office of Violence Tribal Victim Services set aside population certification form now, therefore be resolved.
How much do we have to take in on that grant?
None,
Nothing?
nothing.
Motion.
Motion by Kathy, second.
I'll second
Second by Humsey, all in favor?
it, right?
Aye.
Motion
Good
carries.
night.
Anything else, guys, before we go into?
Guys, I'm here.
Oh, yeah, come on, okay. All right, a couple more, guys. Next one is for Anna Shepherd Head Start Program. This one is to approve the state grant for 2021 year approved for PI to conduct and administer the grant budget allowing for modifications throughout the grant year. So this is a mod here. Approval for Head Start programs, SFY 21 Head Start programs plan approved of principal investigator of the White Earth Head Start programs to conduct and administer the grant in compliance with approved budget allowing for modifications throughout the grant year. The Policy Council of the Head Start programs has already approved the SFY 21 Head Start program plan grant funding. I've attached the funding and enrollment. So this is a modification.
It's a modification.
Motion.
Motion by Kathy, second. Second by Umsey. All in favor?
No.
Motion carries.
You don't gotta be signed. Get them signed today before you head out.
The last one is RBC legal letter for DFL party. A delegate to attend DFL the DFL party
The
caucus or whatever.
caucus.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When is that?
They're all online now.
Oh, are they?
UMSI wants to be a part of the DFL caucusing, what is it,
Part of the caucus for the congressional district
for the district.
convention and state DFL convention.
He needs a signed letter from us, from the tribe, to let him represent us in this.
They didn't put one with that?
Yeah, there's one.
Oh, okay.
So we need a motion to have UMSI represent us at the state DFL caucus. Tribal, what was that?
Motion by Kathy.
Motion by Kathy, second. Second.
I'll second.
Second by Alan. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Let me see on that side. Is that it? Next is,
We have those resolutions for the leaching.
Oh, yeah, we have a resolution to do for the leaching stuff yet.
Leaching permits. I know you have some concerns on too, so I don't know if you want to talk to Monica more about it or.
so Maria, you want us to do these permits? The resolutions for the,
She put a memo of information, come from Shonda.
Are those the leaching ones? They have two resolutions and you
is
have to
one
decide
personal
which
and
one.
one commercial then? Is that what they are?
Doesn't look like.
One is for the leaching license and one is for the harvest permit one.
You have to approve
Right.
one of these.
You have to approve one of them.
Yep.
The Wires RBC must enact necessary measures to protect the life, the property, and to attempt to bring the emergency situation under control. And whereas the Wires RBC is committed to protecting the well-being of all tribal members and tribal employees at all times, but especially during the COVID-19 pandemic, especially those who are most vulnerable to this pandemic, recognize that many of our tribal homes contain several generations. And whereas the Wires RBC believes restrictions must be in place within the exterior boundaries of the Wires Reservation so that we do our part to decrease the chances that the COVID-19 virus infects and spreads within our community and endangers our way of life. And whereas the Wires Department of Natural Resources manages resources for current and future generations through efforts such as setting annual seasons and limits. And whereas the Wires RBC determined in resolution number 057-20-011 that until further notice, harvest permits are not required to participate in harvest activities with the Conservation Code, otherwise remaining in full force and effect. And whereas possession of less than 12 dozen leeches, whether live or dead, is considered personal use and does not require a leaching permit pursuant to the Wires Conservation Code. And whereas the Wires RBC has determined that to best safeguard the health and welfare of tribal members and tribal employees until further notice, no 2020 new leaching permits will be issued, and leaching permits issued in 2019 are in full force in effect for the 2020 leaching season. And whereas the Wires RBC has determined that to best safeguard the health and welfare of tribal members and tribal employees until further notice, seasonal resource use permits are suspended and will not be issued. Now, therefore, let it be resolved that until further notice, 2019 leaching permits are in full force and effect for the 2020 leaching season, and no new leaching permits will be issued. Well, I thought we were going to issue some new ones if they needed them, no.
I thought so too.
That's so too, yeah. Maybe just amend that. Just make it change to it?
Well, I think the second one,
Second one is,
leaching permits are not required to participate in leaching harvest activities.
until further notice, each person not required to consider these covered acting with conservation code, otherwise remain full. Until further notice, each person. There you go. I would approve the second resolution then.
Then we just extend it. Let them, sign up next year.
Right, the second one is allowing those permits. No, it's saying that they're not required.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not required.
Yeah, and then the other one is just saying that you can only do it
Okay, I thought we just said they're covered.
2019.
Yeah, that would prevent people from, yeah, I'd like the second one. Like
Yeah.
you said, yeah. It helps the band members the most.
So we're gonna approve the second amendment which pertains to the harvesting part of it?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
make sure that all band members are able to do it and they don't need for their own personal use, they don't need it says our permits are not required to participate in harvest activities for 2020.
Okay, so do you have a motion on that second one with, no permits or?
Motion.
Motion by Kathy, second by Umsey, all in favor?
right.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Aye.
Very good. All right, well, next we're gonna go into, executive session. So.
Are we gonna do,
Or do we have anything else?
Is that it?
Just one thing here, Mr. Chair,
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
can you hear me?
Yep.
Hello?
yeah,
are you there, Ray?
Yeah, just for clarification, can we put that on the later, website then, that no out-of-state people will be allowed IDs until after this COVID-19? Can we put it in the paper?
yeah, well, we'll talk to our public relations team. Liz will.
We'll get
All right,
something out
thank
there.
you.
We'll get something out there.
Get it in the paper.
All right, we're going to turn the TV off. We're gonna go to enrollments and then also, some executive stuff, Kat. So hang in here, guys.
All right.
Wrong mouse.
Well, man.
Oh, you almost had it?
There you go.
Oh, yeah, quick end.
Shannon.